If you could take a look in your book, there is page 13, it's called Reputation Building Blocks. And what you'll find is, and you've even got some sample words here, and these are adjectives that define your brand. Mia talked about organizations having a brand, but individuals have a brand too, and it's like, well, wow, that sounds fancy. All that really is how do you want to be known by others? What do you want people to be talking about you behind your back, right? Are you showing up in a way consistent with how you want to be, especially as a boss and a manager? So in this exercise, we're going to give you a couple of minutes to fill in the words in your worksheet that best describe you. So let's take a couple of minutes, and these will likely be adjectives, right? Now we gave you some as guidelines, so you can use them, or if they don't apply, please don't use them, okay? What are the ones for you? What are your adjectives? What are your words? Here are some words that Herschel used in his exercise. Herschel said, boy, you know, people have said I work really well with others. So collaborative. Collaborative is one of the words I want to be part of my reputation, part of my brand. That I exhibit sound judgment. But more times than not, I make the right call. And I certainly want to continue to be known for that. Integrity. Wow, I really want to be sure that people that work with me understand and see that I do my work from a place of integrity. Remember wanting to do the right thing. Remember when we introduced Herschel, Herschel wants to do the right thing. So integrity is definitely part of his brand. Follow through. He wants others to know he can be counted on. So follow through is one of his words. Trustworthy. It ties very closely into integrity. We're going to talk a lot about trustworthiness later. Agile. Remember, Herschel's been here for 10 years. So he's figured out how to get it done. Whether it's duct tape, whether it's bubble gum, or what have you. He wants people to know that he continues to be able to be quick on his feet and that to be part of his brand and reputation. Supportive of others, supportive of his team, and innovation. He wants people to know that he can think differently moving forward. I'm not going to ask you necessarily what your words are, but let's do an exercise. So if you could pick a partner. So we're in tables of 3, so
we might have to move around a little.
We'll have to move around a little.
Who would be my partner?
Okay, everybody have a pal? Everybody have a pal? Okay. Introduce yourself to your pal if you don't know them. Okay? Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Here it's storytelling time. You'll each have a turn to tell a story of a time that you were most proud of, that you were in your sweet spot. So you've got to think of a time, think of a scenario, think of an example. And the other person will have your book, so you'll exchange books, and be circling the words they hear. What are the adjectives you're using in your story that are reinforcing your brand, reinforcing your reputation? And then we'll switch, and the other person gets to tell a story, and the partner will then get to be the listener. You know, I want to give you first I want to give you a lot of credit because it's really hard and difficult to talk about ourselves. We rarely have the opportunity to talk about something we're really proud of and look back on fondly. And to have a listener really tuned in and listening to us. If you think about it, that's a rarity these days. And it also can make people feel a little uncomfortable. So when we talk about the whole idea of brand and reputation in our very modest Midwestern kind of way, sometimes that even feels a little funny. But I think it's important that people realize, number one, as part of the whole insightful learning, this is you. This is the messaging of you. And so in that, what I'd like you to do is, think about, what do you want people to know about you? What do you want them to remember? And were there any words that you wrote down that the other people, your partner, didn't circle? Who had that happen? Many people, right? They didn't circle all of them, they only circled some of them. And what that means for you is to say, is that who I think I am, or is that who I project? See, there's a difference sometimes, right? So I can say, I am incredibly gregarious. Now my pals that know me know I'm a raging introvert, and I will never be gregarious. And so that's why it's good to have feedback from others, to say, here's what I heard, here's what I saw. So what we're going to have you do, you want to be able to be completely honest with yourself. That's the honesty piece. As much as I would love to be gregarious, it's probably not how I'm wired. And I've got to be honest about that. Okay? And I encourage you to be the same. The next exercise is to work on, flip your page. Using the words that were circled the most, you get to write your statement. You get to write a statement to say, here is what I want to be known for. Here is my brand statement. And we'll show you Herschel's in a little bit. Is there a page they get to do this on?
There's a page that says notes at the bottom of it.
On the bottom of
17.
on the bottom of 17. Now again, remember I said it's hard in this Midwestern culture of ours, right? It's like, oh, that sounds like bragging. Please don't make me brag. But here's the thing. If we aren't able to, what I call, master the art of self-promotion in a way that's genuine and authentic, we can't assume other people will know, right? So part of insightful learning is also feeling comfortable telling your story, telling people in a way that feels comfortable. So who's brave enough this morning to share their statement? See how I really worked up to that? I was hoping to really pump you up to that.
I'll do
Please,
it.
thank you.
All right. I'm a hardworking, innovative person with a positive attitude who is excited for new challenges.
Nice, very nice. Very, very nice. Remember your first name.
Kevin.
Kevin. Now what Kevin is going to do, as what I'd invite the rest of you to do as well, is on your page 19, what does Kevin need to do, and he'll write this himself, we don't need to tell him what to do, but by way of example, given his statement, what do you need to do every day to support that statement? The other side of the page is, what do you want to make sure you're avoiding, right? That you're not doing because it doesn't support your statement. Does that make sense? So whatever your statement is, this is kind of your plan of action. This is where the rubber hits the road. We can say all kinds of flowery words about ourselves, but how does it show up? How do we need to translate those words into actions every day? And what do we want to be sure we're not doing because it would be inconsistent with our statement? Go ahead.
There's a slide that
Yeah,
shows.
the next couple, you can go past that.
Let's have them do this, and then
Yeah,
we'll
but
talk
what you're
about.
saying actually has slides.
Yeah, it
Okay.
has a slide.
Right
There we
there.
go, and.
There we go. Okay. And then we'll back up and talk about the Thanksgiving dinner.
And then the don't. So here's some examples.
So here's
I
some-
may need to ask some questions to gain some clarity. There's something I might need to participate in.
Right.
There you go.
Here's what I shouldn't be doing, I should stop doing, or here's what I might need to learn. Is important. You like the slide, that's why you wanted me to go back. Mia's gonna tell you why.
And then we're gonna introduce Margaret. We'll
Yes.
have Margaret
Yes.
introduce herself since a new person is in the room.
That's right.
This is one of my favorite pictures. As I mentioned before in my introduction, I did a lot of years of executive assessment and coaching. And I would, as you might imagine with executives, sometimes run into personalities where because they were so successful, they assumed that what they had always been doing was correct. And I'd run into the wall of what I call the Popeye syndrome. The Popeye syndrome is I am what I am and I ain't gonna change. And so I would often show this picture and I'd say, you know, in other words, it was too difficult for them to engage in continual learning and self-awareness and insight. And so I would show this picture and I'd say, you know, for you yourself, you know, you may truly believe that, you know, that you're not going to change and you don't need to change. But tell yourself, you know, ask yourself this one thing. If I'm influencing others, if I'm running a company, if I'm running teams, if I am responsible for being somebody's supervisor, manager, boss, executive, remember that means you are conversation at the family's dinner table. Sobering, very sobering. So if you are somebody's manager or supervisor, like it or not, you are conversation at their dinner table. What are they saying about you? And think of yourself. Think of the bosses and managers that you've had and what you've told your family or partner about your boss or manager. What would you want people saying about you? I also like this picture because it's funny. If we think of this as a traditional family unit and the man is the breadwinner and he's talking disparagingly about his boss, the wife is probably saying, honey, you promised not to use that language at the dinner table in front of the children. And the teenagers are saying, just keep eating, it'll be over with soon. And look at this poor kid, no food. What happened there? So your reputation, your brand really does matter. It really does matter and have an impact on reputation. You're in control of your own integrity, the decisions you make and what you decide to go to the wall for in demonstrating that sound judgment and in making sure your brand demonstrates integrity. And you're in control of the success story you tell yourself as well. So this happens all the time to people where they spiral into a negative story about their company, about themselves, about their job, about their team, whatever it might be, and that becomes their story. The opposite is also true. That's why negativity is so harmful. It's so harmful to the individual when it comes right down to it because they create their own failure story. You have just as much control, all the control in all of those components. So we've gone from me, insightful learning, to we. How do you now lead a team? How do you now manage another person? And it is time for a break.